Have you ever wondered what it feels like to step into a town that shouldn't exist? Some streets feel alive with forgotten stories. Buildings whisper secrets of the past, and the air carries a tension you can almost touch. Today, we explore 10 of America's strangest towns, some abandoned, some bizarrely alive. You'll witness life frozen, mysteries unfolding, and moments that make you pause, shiver, and ask yourself, could you really live here, or would the town claim you first? If you're enjoying this journey through America's strangest towns, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Traveling Guide Hub for more mysterious adventures. 1. Monowi, Nebraska. Every year, travelers stumble into Monowi only to realize it has just one resident keeping the town alive. The streets are empty. The wind is sharp and cold, carrying the faint scent of old wood and dry leaves. Walking here, the silence presses against you, almost like the town itself is aware of your presence. Monowi thrived in the late 1800s as a small railroad town. Over time, families left, farms consolidated, and the railroad lost its importance. Today, only one resident remains, Elsie Eiler. She is both mayor and librarian, managing the town through paperwork and maintaining a tiny library that stands as its heart. Your footsteps echo across the cracked concrete, and somewhere a floorboard creaks. You feel a strange weight in your chest, settling as you move past the old houses and the abandoned general store. On warm afternoons, sunlight sharpens peeling paint, and long shadows stretch across the empty streets. Occasionally, a window rattles in a light breeze, making you glance over your shoulder. Inside the library, the air smells of old books and dust. A single book slips from a shelf, landing softly on the floor. Some visitors notice the faint rustle of pages turning, though no one else is there. Chills run down your spine. The quiet becomes almost physical, brushing against your skin. Standing among the stacks, the room feels alive and frozen in time, holding private memories only it knows. Monowi is more than a one-person town. It is a living memory of a vanished way of life, where the past lingers in every corner. The streets, the library, even the wind seems to carry stories of resilience and isolation. As the sun dips behind the horizon, shadows stretch longer, and the town feels suspended between yesterday and today. Who carries the soul of a town with almost no one left, and what secrets does its silence still guard? 2. Whittier, Alaska. The fog clings low over Whittier, and the cold scent of salt water mixes with diesel from the harbor. You notice how quiet the town is, broken only by the occasional creak of a swinging sign or the distant call of a gull. Founded in 1943 as a military port for the Aleutian Campaign, Whittier's remote location made life harsh from the start. A single tunnel, the Anton Anderson Memorial Tunnel, connects it to the outside world, giving the town access while also amplifying its sense of seclusion. Almost everyone in Whittier lives in Begich Towers, a 14-story building housing apartments, a post office, and a grocery store. Walking the streets outside, you see how empty they are, how the wind whips around faded signs and rusting equipment. Your footsteps echo off concrete and metal, and you feel a strange tension settle in your chest, as if the town is aware of your presence. The quiet here is heavy, but oddly communal, a shared solitude that is both protective and confining. You step into Begich Towers, and the narrow hallways hum with the heating system. Fluorescent lights flicker overhead, and your footsteps echo like they're not entirely yours. The air smells of damp wood and mildew, tinged with a metallic trace from rusting pipes. A chair shifts slightly in an empty corner, and the faint thud of a door closing makes you glance back, though no one else is there. You think you hear voices down a hallway, but when you turn, it's empty. On winter nights, the wind howls outside, rattling windows and vibrating the hallways in a way that feels almost alive. Despite the harsh environment, life continues. Residents navigate the hallways with quiet routines, chatting in small clusters, grocery shopping, and sharing community spaces. The building fosters a strange camaraderie, yet the town's remoteness still leaves a unique weight that lingers in every corner. Outside, fog drifts through empty streets, and the harbor rocks gently under gray skies. You feel time bend here, caught between the bustle inside the tower and the silence beyond. Whittier is more than a collection of buildings. It is a testament to human resilience in one of America's most extreme environments. Standing at the edge of the harbor, you wonder, how does a town thrive when almost all of life is concentrated inside a single tower, and what subtle stories linger in its fog-shrouded halls?
3. Rachel, Nevada. The desert air is dry and sharp as you approach Rachel, Nevada, carrying the scent of sun-baked earth and dust. A heat-hazed road stretches for miles, broken only by sparse shrubs and the occasional rusting fence. Nestled near the famed Area 51 test site, Rachel is so small that locals joke it barely exists on a map. Founded in the 1950s as a ranching settlement, its isolation and proximity to the restricted military base gave it a mysterious reputation early on. Almost all life in Rachel revolves around the Little A. Lee Inn, a small motel, diner, and bar that serves as the community hub. Walking down the dusty main street, you notice the silence. The wind rattles corrugated metal signs, and faded paint peels in long strips. Your footsteps kick up dry dust, and you feel a curious tension in your chest, as if the desert itself is observing. Locals speak of unusual lights in the sky, fleeting shadows, or the hum of distant engines, strange phenomena with no clear explanation. You step inside the Little A. Lee Inn, and the air is a mix of brewed coffee, old wood, and the faint tang of motor oil from the desert outside. Posters of UFO sightings and alien caricatures cover the walls, giving the place a surreal, almost otherworldly vibe. A floorboard creaks behind you, and a cup rattles faintly on the counter, making you glance back, though no one else is there. In the corner of your eye, a shadow seems to shift just slightly, adding a subtle unease. You notice the hum of the air conditioning mingling with desert winds, and a flicker of light appears far on the horizon, too far to be a vehicle, too steady to be a star. Despite the town's tiny size, life continues. Travelers swap stories with locals, and residents maintain their few buildings, laughing and sharing tales in the diner. Though the desert stretches endlessly beyond, inside the diner, laughter and stories buzz like static energy, a stark contrast to the quiet streets outside. Shadows stretch long as the sun sets, the horizon rippling with desert heat. You feel time bend here, caught between the bustle of human life inside the diner and the silent mystery beyond. Rachel is more than a waypoint near Area 51. It is a testament to life on the fringe of mystery and isolation. Standing outside the diner as the sun dips behind distant hills, you wonder, how does a town sustain itself where the unknown feels so close? And what secrets do the endless skies above still hide?
4. Centralia, Pennsylvania. The air smells faintly of smoke and damp earth as you drive into Centralia, Pennsylvania. A thin veil of fog curls through the cracked streets, mixing with the faint sulfuric scent rising from the ground. Once a bustling coal mining town in the mid-19th century, Centralia thrived for decades, its red brick streets lined with homes, schools, and businesses. But in 1962, a coal seam fire ignited beneath the town, and it has been burning ever since. Now, most buildings are gone, and nature has begun reclaiming what remains. Walking the nearly empty streets, you notice the cracked asphalt ripple beneath your feet. Puffs of warm, smoky air escape from fissures in the ground, and the sulfur heat contrasts with the morning's cold, making every step feel both harsh and surreal. A hollow hiss carries up from the earth, and you feel a subtle tension settle in your chest, as if the town itself is aware of your presence. Signs warn visitors of dangerous sinkholes, yet the town is oddly magnetic, drawing the curious despite its desolation. Your footsteps echo off the hollow shells of abandoned houses, many with windows broken or boarded up. Rusted mailboxes lean crookedly, and wild vegetation snakes through driveways and cracks in sidewalks. A faint orange glow seeps from a nearby fissure, and the heat radiates against your skin. Occasionally, a distant rumble resonates through the earth, a reminder of the coal fire burning silently beneath your feet. You think you hear a faint whisper rise from the ground, though the wind carries no sound. Despite the emptiness, a sense of memory lingers. Graffiti on walls, faded murals, and old foundation stones hint at lives once lived. Visitors often report a chilling stillness that feels almost alive, as if the town remembers every footstep, every laughter, every sorrow that passed through its streets. You notice a hollow whistle of wind through a broken chimney, the only sound in the otherwise heavy silence. Centralia is more than an abandoned town. It is a slow-burning testament to human endeavor, environmental consequence, and the passage of time. Standing on a cracked sidewalk, the sulfur scent thick in the air, you wonder, how does a place survive when its very ground fights against it? And what secrets lie beneath the smoke that refuses to die? 5. Dudleytown, Connecticut. The forest smells of centuries-old soil and moss as you approach Dudleytown, Connecticut. Moss clings to gnarled tree trunks, and fallen leaves crackle underfoot, releasing faint, musty aromas. Once a small colonial settlement founded in the early 1700s, Dudleytown thrived for decades with a handful of farming families. Over time, disease, crop failures, and tragic accidents forced residents to leave. By the 20th century, the village was abandoned, and the ruins have since become shrouded in legend and whispered tales of misfortune. Walking along the overgrown paths, you notice how the forest canopy filters light into dim, shifting patterns. Broken foundations and stone walls peek through the undergrowth, silent witnesses to a vanished life. Your footsteps disturb squirrels and birds, yet the air carries a strange stillness, almost expectant, as if the woods themselves are watching. Visitors often report an unshakable unease, a weight pressing on the chest, or a chill running down the spine, even on warm afternoons. You step closer to the crumbling remains of a farmhouse. The air smells faintly of decaying wood. A fallen beam groans under your touch, and the wind whistles through gaps in the ruins, making you glance over your shoulder, though no one else is present. Shadows twist between the trees, shifting as though alive. Stray beams of sunlight illuminate mossy stones, almost as if intentionally marking the passage of time and neglect. A bird freezes mid-flight, hovering in an unusual stillness, while a faint, indistinct whisper seems to drift through the trees, though the forest remains empty. Despite the eerie legends, Dudleytown is also a testament to endurance. The ruins tell stories of families who lived, toiled, and faced hardships centuries ago. Graffiti from modern explorers and hikers now marks some walls, blending contemporary curiosity with history. You feel time warp here, centuries past and present overlapping, the forest reclaiming the space while whispers of history linger. Dudleytown is more than an abandoned village. It is a quiet monument to human fragility and the relentless power of nature. Standing among moss-covered stones, you wonder what unseen stories remain etched in the forest, and why does this place continue to unsettle those who walk its paths centuries later?
6. Slab City, California. The sun blazes down on cracked concrete and sand as you approach Slab City, California. The air is dry and sharp, carrying the faint scent of dust, sweat, and rusting metal. Once the site of a military base, Camp Dunlap, Slab City was abandoned after World War II, leaving only concrete slabs behind. Over decades, it transformed into a countercultural settlement, home to artists, nomads, and off-grid dwellers seeking freedom from the rules of society. Walking across the sun-baked slabs, you notice colorful murals painted on walls, whimsical sculptures made from scrap metal, and tire tracks cutting through desert sand. The heat presses against your skin, and a dry wind whistles through the remnants of abandoned buildings, carrying a faint echo of guitar strings. Your footsteps echo across empty concrete foundations, and you feel a strange mix of liberation and unease, as if the space itself is charged with both creativity and solitude. You wander toward Salvation Mountain, its bright colors stark against the pale desert. The scent of paint and sun-warmed clay mixes with the arid air. Rusted tin cans clink underfoot, and the occasional dog barks somewhere beyond the horizon. A shadow seems to flicker at the edge of a mural, though no one stands there. A piece of metal sculpture sways slightly, though the wind seems too gentle to move it. Visitors often describe a feeling of being watched, though the settlement has no permanent authority, only scattered residents and travelers drifting through. Despite its isolated and improvised nature, life pulses quietly here. Campers cook over open fires, musicians strum guitars near makeshift dwellings, and artists add new murals to walls that already tell decades of stories. The desert stretches endlessly, yet pockets of human energy appear in clusters. The slabs seem to hold memories of both military precision and creative chaos, bridging the past and present. Slab City is more than an abandoned military site. It is a living experiment in freedom, resilience, and eccentricity. Standing on a cracked slab under the relentless sun, you notice a faint shimmer in the distance, a mirage or a passing vehicle, and wonder, how do people carve a life out of emptiness, and what stories linger in a place where rules are scarce but imagination runs wild?
7. Point Hope.
Alaska. A sharp, icy wind cuts across the tundra as you approach Point Hope, Alaska. The scent of briny sea and frozen earth mixes in the air, stinging your cheeks and nostrils. Perched on a narrow spit of land jutting into the Chukchi Sea, Point Hope is one of the oldest continuously inhabited communities in North America, home to the Inupiat people for over 2,000 years. The town's survival has always relied on the rhythms of the sea, hunting, and the harsh, frozen environment that shapes daily life. Walking along the shoreline, you notice the low, sturdy houses clustered together, their roofs dusted with snow. The wind whistles through the narrow alleys, carrying the distant cries of seabirds and the faint murmur of waves against the rocky coast. Your footsteps crunch on frozen ground, and a strange chill settles in your chest, as if the land itself is alive and watching. Occasionally, you catch a glimpse of a figure moving silently across the tundra. By the time you blink, they've vanished into the landscape. A sudden gust sends snow swirling around the houses, momentarily masking the edges of the shoreline. You pass a small community center where the smell of smoked fish and wood smoke drifts from a nearby house. Dogs bark faintly, and the low sun casts long shadows across the snow, stretching and bending with the curves of the frozen shoreline. Some visitors report a feeling of being observed, though the town is peaceful, full of life and tradition. Despite its extreme environment, Point Hope thrives. Residents hunt bowhead whales and caribou, share meals, and maintain a deep cultural connection to the land and sea. The wind moans through wooden beams and cracks, yet laughter, music, and daily chores remind you this is a living, breathing community. Life here is a delicate balance between human ingenuity and the uncompromising natural world. Point Hope is more than a remote Alaskan village. It is a testament to resilience, culture, and human endurance. Standing at the edge of the ice-swept coast, feeling the wind bite at your skin, you wonder, how does a community sustain life in such relentless isolation? And what stories have survived here for thousands of years, whispered only between the sea and the tundra?
8. Santa Claus, Indiana. A crisp winter breeze drifts across the streets of Santa Claus, Indiana. The faint scent of pine, sugar cookies, and wood smoke mingles in the air. Candy canes line storefronts, Santa statues watch from corners, and tinsel catches fractured sunlight as it glints off windows. Founded in 1854, the town's unusual name has drawn visitors for generations, giving it a quirky charm unlike any other small American town. Walking along Main Street, you notice how quiet it is. Your footsteps echo lightly off the sidewalks, punctuated by the distant jingle of a shop bell. A subtle unease lingers beneath the cheerful decorations, as if the town itself holds secrets beneath its festive exterior. A Santa figurine shifts slightly in the corner of your eye, though the display remains still when you look directly. Outside, a wreath sways gently on a lamppost, though no breeze stirs the air. You pass the Santa Claus Museum, where the air smells faintly of old paper and varnished wood. Inside, faint rustles and occasional thumps make you pause, aware of the quiet that both comforts and intrigues. Sunlight glances off tinsel and glass ornaments, casting fractured patterns across the floor. Shadows shift along walls and display cases, heightening a sense of subtle mystery without feeling forced. Inside the diner or shop, laughter and chatter buzz like static energy. Outside, the streets remain empty, a stark contrast.
Residents maintain shops, run the museum, and share stories of Santa Claus legends and annual Christmas events. The town feels alive, yet retains its uncanny, playful atmosphere, a delicate balance between whimsy and curiosity. Santa Claus, Indiana, is more than a novelty on a map. It is a living testament to history, imagination, and enduring tradition. Walking past candy-striped lampposts and snow-dusted rooftops, you wonder, how does a town sustain its festive spirit year-round, and what quiet stories linger behind the cheerful displays, hidden from the visitors who only see the magic?
9. Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Mist clings low to the Victorian streets of Eureka Springs, curling around wrought iron balconies and cobblestones. The air is cool and damp, carrying the faint scent of cedar, rain-soaked stone, and aged wood. You hear the soft creak of shutters swaying in the breeze, and the echo of your footsteps bouncing off narrow alleyways. There's a quiet here that feels alive, almost as if the town remembers more than it shows. Founded in 1879 around natural hot springs, Eureka Springs quickly became a bustling resort town, famed for healing waters and ornate Victorian architecture. Visitors once flocked for the baths, the theaters, and lively street fairs. Today, the streets are quieter, the town a delicate balance of tourism and history, where the charm of past centuries lingers in every corner. You pass spiral staircases, ornate balconies, and elaborate facades, each telling a story of prosperity, decline, and resilience. Walking the cobblestone alleys, shadows stretch along narrow paths, and a subtle tension settles in your chest. In the corner of an alley, a shadow flickers, but when you glance back, it's gone. Outside, the fog thickens around stone steps and lampposts, carrying echoes of footsteps and the soft whistle of wind through intricate latticework. The town feels layered, lively yet still, welcoming yet slightly mysterious. Inside a small shop, the smell of polished wood, spices, and coffee invites warmth. Laughter and chatter buzz like static energy, a stark contrast to the deserted alleys outside. Twilight settles, and lanterns cast long, wavering shadows across the cobblestones. The mist thickens, curling around doorways and balconies, making even familiar sights feel slightly uncanny. Eureka Springs is more than a Victorian relic. It is a living chronicle of human ambition, resilience, and the passage of time. As evening falls and tourists vanish, you wonder what secrets linger in Eureka Springs' misty streets and whose voices still echo through the alleys of this timeless town. 10. Ivanpah, California. The desert stretches endlessly around Ivanpah, heat shimmering off cracked asphalt and baked soil. The air carries the faint scent of dust, sagebrush, and scorched sand. You notice the distant hum of abandoned machinery and the sharp glare of the sun reflecting off rusted metal structures. Shadows of abandoned buildings stretch long, twisting in the sunlight, and sometimes faint echoes of the past, clanging footsteps, distant voices, seem to drift across the empty streets. Subtle tension settles in your chest, as if the town itself is aware of your presence. Founded in the early 1900s as a mining hub, Ivanpah thrived briefly during the silver and gold rushes. Miners and their families carved out lives among the harsh desert hills.
Over time, the mines closed, the population dwindled, and buildings were abandoned to wind and sun. Today, only skeletal structures, rusted mining equipment, and fragmented foundations hint at the lives once lived. Walking through the streets, your footsteps crunch on gravel and broken glass. Sunlight glints off shattered windows and warped metal, making the ruins feel almost alive. Occasionally, a gust of arid wind whistles through a doorway, rattling a shutter or swaying a lone rope hanging from a rusted pulley, and you pause, certain that movement came from elsewhere. A faint metallic tang mixes with the baked soil, heightening the unease. Near the old mine shafts, the ground dips and swells, echoing every step. Graffiti on walls adds a modern layer atop the town's historical decay. Though the desert is still, you sometimes catch the faintest sounds of past life, distant clanging, footsteps, or a voice carried on the wind, yet no one is there. Ivanpah is more than a ghost town. It is a testament to impermanence, ambition, and isolation. Its ruins stand as silent witnesses to struggle and fleeting prosperity. Standing among the crumbling structures, you can't help but wonder, what stories are hidden in these empty streets, and what echoes of life still linger under the relentless desert sun? From Monoi's lone resident to Ivanpah's sun-scorched ruins, each town tells a story of resilience, mystery, and the passage of time. Some thrive against the odds, others fade into silence, yet all leave traces of human ambition and curiosity. As you reflect on these hidden corners of America, ask yourself, what would it feel like to walk these streets alone, to hear echoes of the past, and to uncover the secrets that history quietly guards?